Alright guys, today's video, I've explained before how many, there's lots of different ways of expressing a linear equation. So obviously no powers and just coefficients in front of variables and constants. So those are linear expressions. They can be one-dimensional, so just on the number line. They can be two-dimensional, so on the plane. They can be 3, 4, they can be many dimensions, but no powers, basically. And meaning it's linear. So we've done the graph of the form y equals mx plus c. So maybe that would be the first way that we would go about doing this question here. So 3x plus 2y equals 12. It's not in the form y equals mx plus c. So we basically want to rearrange it to make y the subject of the equation. So we have to subtract 3x off both sides. So 2y, and we want an mx plus c. So when I subtract 3x, I'll put that before the 12, because adding things, it doesn't matter what order. 12 plus negative 3x is negative 3x plus 12. And then I need to divide out by that 2. I can divide everything by 2, because as long as I do it to both sides, it keeps that equality. So I got negative 3 over 2x plus 6. Now, from the previous video, we do know how to graph that. So in red, we'll go plus 6 on the axes, y-intercept. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. So it's got a y-intercept at 6. It's got a gradient of negative 3 over 2. That means when I go across 2, I go down 3. 1, 2, 3. Across 2, down 3. And I can draw a line through those 2 points. They're a nice distance apart. And that is my line. That equation is y equals negative 3 over 2x plus 6. Okay, now that was quite a bit of work to just graph a straight line. And it can take a bit of time, a bit of thinking if you're not used to it. So I'm just going to write it again. 3x plus 2y equals 12. Now there's something important about the x-axis I mentioned in the last video. The value of y is 0. Whenever you're on this line, there's a y value of 0. And on the y-axis, it's similar. Whenever you're on the y-axis, the x value is 0. So what does that mean? It means that I could get the y-intercept by just making x 0. So let x equal 0. What's 3 times 0? It's nothing. So then 2y is 12. Divide by 2, y is 6. So we would plot that 6. Then we can also make y 0. So we could let y equal 0. Well, what's 2 times 0? What's 0? So 3x equals 12 and x equals 4. And you can see that we actually did plot 4 when we did our gradient counting. So straight away we've got those 2 points, and then again we can just draw a line through them. And what we call this is I call this intercept method. Because all you need to do is find one intercept and the other intercept. And I know that also looks like quite a bit of work, but really all you have to do is you want to plot the y-intercept, well, make x 0, so cover it up. 2y is 12, so y is 6. You want to plot the y-intercept, the x-intercept, so you make y 0, so cover that up. 3x equals 12, so x is 4. And you can straight away just plot those 2 points and then draw a line. Nice and easy, no rearrangement, and when you get better you don't even need to do all this working. So how does that look on this question? You could pause and give that a go. But let's say I want to plot the y-intercept first. So I make x 0, so cover it up. 2 times what is negative 6? Well, that's negative 3. Okay, now I want to plot the x-axis. So I cover up 2y. Negative x equals negative 6. So that means x is positive 6. I've got my intercept. I can now rule a line through those 2 points. And Desmos should confirm that. So the other name for this is the cover up method. It's an informal name for it because to plot your axes, you just cover up each variable and you can plot the corresponding y and x intercepts. Hopefully that makes sense. Here is 8 for you to give a go. You could pause, give those a sketch. I'm just going to do the first 2 again just to show you, but just to keep the video short, you could check the questions 3 to 8 on Desmos. So give that a pause and have a go at that. Alright, what does question 1 look like? Well, according to the cover up method, if we want to plot the y-axis, I can cover up. The y-intercept is 6. When I cover up the y, or make y 0, because that's what we're doing mathematically, x must be -4. You've got to be careful with that negative, because it's -3 times -4 gives positive 12. So y is 6, and x is -4. And then we could roll a line through those 2. Arrows on the end, label that line. Hopefully that makes sense. Let's do the second one. I'll do it in a different colour so we don't get them mixed up. So we're going to plot, it doesn't matter which one we do first, we're going to make y 0. So we're going to cover up that y. 2 times what is 8? X is 4. Now we're going to plot the y-axis, cover up the x. Now the -4 is acting upon this y, so be careful there. That's why I wanted to do these first 2. -4 times what is 8? Y, it must then be -2. So we put that point on there, and now we can rule a line between those. You can kind of get the gradient from these as well. If you wanted to go out a wee bit further, you could just match that rise over run and go to a further point, which is kind of what I'm doing with the ruler. So that there is the cover up method. Subscribe to that smash button.